Hello and welcome back to the finish line. Happy New Year, everyone. It's been a while since we've been back. We've had a longer break than usual, but better late than ever. Good things come to those who wait and all that jazz. We are here. We're going to look back on all the best action from the Christmas period from Leopardstown, Kempton, Leopardstown. Before we get stuck into it, boys, how are we? Tom, gearing up for the London Marathon. He literally just told us before he came on air how much that's paying to do this thing. Holy mother of God.
Yeah, look, it's without sounding like a dickhead, because there's no other way of sounding when you're like that. I had to buy a ticket. I've been to the Bartlett for years and years. I tried to get a charity place. I told the charity I was going to raise $7.5 grand, and I still didn't get a place. So I decided I'm 35 a couple of days after the London Marathon this year, so I said it's now or never. I'm going doing it, so I had to buy a sports travel place. The company are very good, in fairness. They've been very good so far. I'm really looking forward to it, but yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap.
The first lie, the first lie of tonight. Tom's turning 35. First lie. All the times we travel together, I still yet to set my eyes in the inside of that passport.
Yeah, actually, look, it's I think back in the olden days, I think myself and Andrew Blair White had to bring our passports on the show because nobody believed either of us.
And to this day, we still don't. Sean, how was your Christmas, New Year, and all that jazz?
Yeah, all good. A few days out in Leopardstown, but the reality kicked in now. I'm during exam season, so that's not fun. But look, a little breakaway, getting to look back on the race, and I think there was a hell of a lot that went down, and we're probably still none the wiser in certain divisions. So we look forward to stick going everywhere left and centre tonight.
There was a lot of bets, and anti-post bets went down. All right, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's what I like you now, Sean.
Speaking of anti-post bets, we'll start as we mean to go on. Juvenile Hurdle, Hello Neighbour, and got the better of a few others, and then that Willie the Hoolie was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sean, we'll come to you in a minute. We'll leave you gather yourself and gather your thoughts of how you're going to pull out the excuse book and everything else. I know we didn't see much of it, but Tom, what we said kind of came to fruition. We're not right often, but he done a lot wrong, as you pointed out, in his French days, and it's him first off. It's not Triumph anymore, but maybe the Boodles, and then the winner, Hello Neighbour. Look, that was a good performance on his first run. He made a few mistakes, but got up in the end. Thoughts on everything?
Yeah, but look, in fairness, let's start with the winner. I thought the winner was very good. He was back, like the feet was out of the question, wasn't he? So yeah, he was really well punted. I felt he could jump better when he learns a bit more. I felt he was traveling very, very well in Keith's hands, but he ground it out. He really ground it out, and he looks a very nice horse. Bold move to throw him into a graded race on his first start, but. Yeah, I think he could be very good, and I'm sure Gavin Cromwell and his team do as well. So yeah, looking forward to him going forward. It'd be interesting to see where they go next. Presume they'll go to the DRF and then to
the interview yesterday said that's the target, DRF, and then on to Cheltenham.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to him in the DRF. I think he'll take plenty of beating, I'd say. Willie the Hype. Lived up to his name, really. We tried to point out that he did plenty wrong in France, and we tried to point out that he did plenty wrong the first day as well. But the Willie the Hype backers were just blinkered, I think. Didn't want to see what was actually going on in front of them. And I think it's the same again. I don't know how he's favourite for the Boodles. He's favourite for the Boodles based on, he's not going to win the Triumph now, but he's a very good horse, so he'll win the Boodles. I give him absolutely no chance. He just does too much wrong. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good horse, but at the minute anyway, he just does too much wrong. And when they're reaching for a hood then on the second start, and he's jumping isn't great, and he's keen, and he's just not for me. He may work out down the line if he learns to settle and relax, but I wouldn't be surprised if they even skip Cheltenham. To be bluntly honest, it wouldn't be unusual for them to say, look, let's not complete. We'll see, but yeah, I couldn't touch him. I couldn't touch him for the Boodles even.
Yeah, even on that, Sean, I know you like him, Sean. Well, even his form of the first one was upheld with naturally nimble. You surely is kind of, he's gone to the wayside now, is he with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was his D-Day. He had to go and deliver, and he didn't. So I don't know. It frustrates me just because it's a couple of other horses. We had some crack in the group chat. Now Nietzsche has went and bolted up at Chepstow, and horses all in the round that was winning bar him, and he went out in his face. But look, I don't know what's going on, but he hasn't gone on forward since coming over, and I just don't like. Yeah, I could forgive him up, but the only thing you could clutch at is ground. I don't know. Perhaps he needs deep ground, and the 2 times he's ran in Ireland has been on good. But I consider the slip as good as dead. I don't think he'd have a chance in the triumph. Just back on the winner, look, it was a strange day out in Leopardstown. I've never seen that like in my life. The fog was down. You couldn't see you couldn't see the last hurdle in the straight, and from standing in the stand, that's not too far away. It was really, really dense, and I just thought. I've watched back the replay a couple of times, and you can't see the second last, but I would have loved to see what's happened there, because Lady Vega Allen has gone from being last of the field. She's ridden by Sean O'Keefe. I'd say, I don't think it'd be a D-Day that she had to win, and I thought she was ridden like it probably wasn't D-Day, and somehow, if there was another 5 yards, she's won. And she's come from being stone cold out the back of the field, giving away advantage. I thought Hello Neighbour was up in the van. He didn't go a great pace. He was out of just sitting behind. He didn't do great, but he got it how he wanted. And he went to the last, and then they've come out of the fog, and you see Lady Vega Allen is the one that's closing. And as I said, 5 strides after the line, she was up. So obviously we don't know. We don't know what's happened. She could have hit a hurdle. She could have made up massive ground. We haven't a clue what's happened in that dark zone of the back bend to the last. But I thought she was definitely the horse to take over. I think a stiff track, 2 miles, 1 furlong. I thought Hello Neighbour race is very keen. I know he's had a couple of runs on the flat, but I don't know if he'd get found out by the Cheltenham Hill. I thought he was good to win, of course, first time over hurdles, but just thought if there was a horse to take over, that Lady Vega Allen was ridden, and obviously by Sean O'Keefe wasn't first choice, and I just thought she'd come home with some rattle. He's held pedigree as well, so it's not all fluke, and she was a one-time winner of France coming over. I thought that was the horse to take out the race.
Right, so that's the Juveniles out of the way. We'll kind of couple the Novices chasing and hurdling, because there's been a lot happening. The first ones we concentrate is kind of Supreme based. We know Salvador Mundi and Kellis Doran are entered up this weekend, but Cope the Boards, Romeo Coolio, Work Ahead, Potter's Charm, and the New Lion, Tom, all got the job done this weekend, or not this weekend, still thinking on Christmas time, over Christmas time. Cope the Board, start with him. Good performance, jumping kind of went to posh, but still managed to win. Where do you see him going for Shetland?
Look, it's hard to say. I wouldn't really hazard a guess as to where they're all going to go, but I mean, I presume you got trainers talking about, we might go straight to Cheltenham. Others might go to the DRF. Others have got races to run in the UK. But I thought he was good. He's clearly got an engine, but by God, he needs to brush up his jumping. He ain't going to win those Supreme, especially if it's on better ground. I don't think jumping like that. So I thought of the Irish ones. I think Romeo Coolio is getting forgotten about a little bit. I think he travelled very, very, very well. He kicked clear. He made a bad enough mistake at the last. He lost his hind legs after it, and he still got up. He still picked them up and kicked on again to put even more distance between him and the second and win by 9 lengths. So I thought that was very good. I thought work ahead, is it? Yeah, Work Ahead of Henry's. Very, very smart. I think he'll be his Supreme horse. He's probably one, though, after just winning the maiden, probably has to go to the DRF, and we'll find out a little bit more then. And the New Lion, if we're going to talk about him now, Jesus, that was probably the performance of the Novices. To sit, even just go back and watch it again today, like to sit in, jump in the last or the second last, and Harry's gone to go down the inside, and he said, I can't even be asked taking me chances here. And he's just literally just pulled him back out around 2 horses who were flat out. And there are no mugs. He gives him a squeeze to quick and clear, and he's gone in a couple of strides, and he just sits up on him again. Mightily impressive. I think the second maybe holds the form down a little bit, but the rest of them behind are very, very good, and we've all been keen on them. So I don't think we should grab it too much. And it's in the whole ownership thing is interesting, isn't it? Darren Yates, obviously, we found the one, we've been in it for this long. And then he tells the Nick Luck podcast that there was a deal in the background the whole time. So it's like, I don't know what you believe anymore from people talking in interviews. He can come and defend himself as much as he wants, but he said one thing and then did the opposite, to be honest, especially knowing there was a deal in the background. So it's up to him, his prerogative, but it's just hard to watch interviews and listen these days.
Yeah, that's where like a lot of young people on Twitter and all that get caught up in the stable talk and believe in everything that every trainer says in an interview and whatnot. It's just you learn as you go on, just not trust anything that comes out of yards, anything that comes out of trainers' mouth, because they could wake up the next morning and totally change their mind.
Believe your eyes.
What?
Believe your eyes.
Exactly. Eye test is key. The slight issue I have with the new line is he's very much after doing everything on the bridle. Look, we don't know what he's going to find at the bridle. He could find a lot. But I have this every year going into Cheltenham Festival. If he's not to have another run, he's yet to come off the bridle in a race. And if he goes to the Ballymore or whatever it's called these days, the Turners, I reckon he could get a shock to the system when they're going flat out and coming to the last, he jumps it. What will he find when the likes of, for argument's sake, a Cote d'Or, Potter's Charm, known to come off the bridle, find? Will he be able to find when it really matters? And if he does, will the race be over by the time he realises what he has to do? That's my only issue with him. The current prices now, I'd be very much against him. Look, visually very, very impressive, but questionable still going forward. Work ahead before I go on Sean. That's a horse I really like. I put him up for the Supreme. I think he's a very, very good horse to make. I reckon he'll go the same route that Slay Steel went last year. Second the race, he was second behind Ballywurn straight onto the Supreme. And I agree with you, Tom. Like, if we look at Romeo Coolio, if we look at the bet now for the Supreme, Salvador Monday 6-1. For the life of me, my head hurts thinking how is he 6-1 based on what he's done so far. Everybody,
he won 200. He won 200 lengths there at Tipperary the other week, the other month, the other 6 months ago. Yeah.
But you know what is? Everyone is hanging a hat on that he was second to Sergino. That's literally the only. That's the only reason you can think he's 6-1 for Supreme. There's no other reason for it.
I love how he's shortening just based on the fact that he got an entry.
Oh, like ridiculous! Like it's scandalous. And that race in Tipperary, he won by 60 odd lengths. One horse out of that has won. The rest of them have been beaten double-digit lengths every single time. Go back and go through the form. Maybe one or two have gone close. The rest of them have been absolutely beaten out of sight. That was a 4-year-old. He won a 4-year-old maiden. How? I don't get it. I really don't. And people who are the shrews were the people who saw him getting beaten in the Triumph last year. Oh, he's still a maiden. He's going to go for the Supreme. I'm going to back him now for the Supreme so I can look deadly on Twitter with my 33-1. That's the only reason why he's like that. Literally.
Look, Animix was favourite for the Supreme 2 years in a row, and we'd never even seen him.
Like Romeo, getting back to the point, Romeo Coolio has done by far head and shoulders more than Salvador Monday has done. He's a Grade 1 winner, won on debut, second in the champion bumper. 10-1 for him or 6-1 for Salvador Monday. You take the 10-1 every day of the week on a horse that has proven that he can mix it at that level. And he won by 9 lengths. So, I don't know. Sean, over to you.
Yeah, there's a few. I'll go back to the start. Kopek, the board, I thought, look, I was blown away by him, but there's a lot to pick from it now. He couldn't jump a twig, and if you were going halfway down the back straight, you could have got any price you wanted on him winning, because he went there with a strong gallop. He hadn't jumped a twig, and I don't know how on earth he's won this race, because there has to be a serious engine under that bonnet. He's done a lot wrong. I thought first time out he was fresh enough. They went to the good clip and didn't jump a twig, and then found again when Paddy Mullins asked him, and he's gone away from Cowabunga. I don't know where he's going to go. The jumping has to improve. There's no doubt about that. The only thing you can give him is he has no point-to-point background. He has no French background. So in theory, it's his first time jumping hurdles in a race. Now, he'll have to improve massively, but that's the only lenience you can sort of give him, in my opinion. But he has a serious engine. I thought Cowabunga ran a nice race in second as well. He could be one that might throw his hat in the ring somewhere along the line this season. He was ridden off the pace by Simon Torrance, and it was a bit not educational, but I don't think it was all about that day. And he came home with a nice little rattly, and he gave Kopek the boards a little fright after the last, but he pulled away again. But Kopek the boards definitely, if jumping gets better, has a serious engine under the board. Work Ahead was very good. I thought William Money, I thought, was the horse that was running again, and he done things right. I think it might be able to change the form. I think he might be able to get closer. He pulled for 1.6 miles of that race and didn't race properly at all, and I'm surprised he got as close as he did in the end. Redemption Day, look, I think there's jumping issues there. There's a reason why they didn't go over hurdles last season, and I rubbished the part of wanting to stay in bumpers for another part. He obviously wasn't jumping great. Patrick lined him up 5 wide, and he's jumping out to his right. He done a lot wrong, I thought, and he's not a horse.
Patrick got a horse.
Yeah, he done a lot wrong there, and I couldn't be following him down the line. There was another one on the Factor Foil Day, Kate Dye. I thought that performance needs good marking up, and I just haven't touched on it, but there was some vibe around the Henry horse that was in that race that day, Cocktail, the Vin, I think it's called. There was serious vibe going around the track. They couldn't get enough money on that lad, and I thought Kate Dye, if you look back, it looks like he's a workman-like, but if you go and watch back, Mark Walsh always had that horse covered, and never lifted the whip, never pulled her on him, slapped him down the neck, always had him beaten. I thought he's a horse that had to be marked up. We'll say it now, I don't know, you might touch on it again down the line, but the Willie Mullins form has to be talked about around the Christmas time, in and out like the washing. I don't know what you make of them. I don't know if you take the line if they've all ran below and anything that's worked, you marked up, or do you take the line of some of them to their merits and some haven't? Because I just think performances were up and down. It's very, very hard to judge. So if you're looking at that, you'd say Kate Dye possibly wasn't 100% right, and I think has been a good field there, a very good maiden. I thought that was, and them two horses are serious ones going into the DRF. I wouldn't be forgetting about the Henry horse either. Then go on to Romeo Coolio. Disappointed at the Fairly House. I don't know. Look, I looked through it. You'd say his 3 least best performances have been right-handed. His first time out in Fairly House wasn't great. It was workman-like. He's beaten at Punchestown, beaten at Fairly House. I know he doesn't jump to his left, but perhaps he's a better horse going left-handed. He's come in here and he's put them to bed very nicely. I think he definitely deserves a space at the top of the market. I think it's a wide open Supreme, but I don't know how he's not top over Salvador Monday. And then you come to the new line. Right, I have a feeling this race is falling apart, to be quite honest. Yeah, because I was deeply worried from the get-go when you seen Regent Stroll going down to the start. He was first keen. It looked like the occasion had got to him, and he raced like that in the race. He didn't settle. And you have the new line. He's going to beat Wendigo. If Wendigo gets within 20, 30 lengths of either Supreme or Ballymore, I'll fall down, because I don't think he's anywhere near that level. I know the little line only has to beat what's in front of him. He's done it impressively, looked unreal on the bridle. Was he beaten? Bill Joyce, you wouldn't say he goes on top of the ground. He needs a slog. And Wendigo's in second. I think if you want to pick holes and you can, I wouldn't be touching him at that sort of price for a Ballymore. He's done it nicely. He's obviously being bought. I think you were saying it was £1 million he was bought for by JP. He's going to be in the mix, but I think he'd be bigger on the day than where he is now. And I think looking back, Wendigo, I'd have serious issues around that form. Regent Stroll clearly hasn't ran to his form and done a lot wrong. He's a horse that they'd be going back to the Jordan board with. But I just think the new line, he's at the top of the market. I know he's won his grade 1, but he's a horse I'd be willing to take on, I think, going forward.
I think just two. Yeah, Kubo's comment there,
yeah. Kubo said the huge drift on Kato, 10 to 11 out to 7 to 2. All the Willie's drift lost other than him, so mark up that performance massively.
Yeah.
How would you explain that? How would you explain that Kate Duffy was backed into 1 to 3? Like, defeat was out of the question, and then goes from 10 to 11 out to 7 to 2. You can't just tell me it was because of the Henry horse. Like, that doesn't normally happen. No. The drifts on some of those horses over Christmas and the way they ran was alarming, is how I would put it.
Yeah, you mentioned it. You mentioned a lot over Christmas time about the drifts and how they were running, and the ones that did drift all ran like trains.
Yeah, it was very weird. Very, very strange. You don't normally see that happen, to be honest. Especially over a big. Sean will tell you that these trainers target the big meetings. Well, Christmas is as big as it gets, and it was very, very strange. The one thing I would say is a positive, actually, from a punting point of view, but more so from a competitive racing point of view. Like, talk about the Supreme. Like, we're past Christmas now, going into the DRF, and the Supreme is 6-1 the field. The Turners is obviously shaped around the New Lion, but after that it's 6-1 the field, and the Albert Bartlett, as far as I'm aware, could be 8-1 the field. It's 8-1 the field. So it's good to see. It's good to see, and hopefully we'll get some big fields, and we're not just going to turn up with Ballyburn taking on his 5 stablemates and going off at a crazy short price. It's not Ballyburn's fault. It's not Willie's fault, but just hope for some more competitive racing.
Speaking of the Ballymore and the Bartletts, 2 more we'll touch on before we move on to Novice Chase. So the big Westerner for Henry, Tom, really good performance at Limerick. She's a big raw mare. She's currently, I think she's favourite now for the Bartlett with Yellow Clay, who won the Lawless and Ace really impressively last weekend. Just touch on the 2 of them, where you think they'll go on the performances.
Yeah, it's a way I never quite know how to take that Limerick form and take it to other places. I remember State Man winning down there, and he kind of only just did enough, like. But I don't know what he won. He won easier than just doing enough, but he didn't absolutely annihilate them. And she's kind of the same. She always looked the winner around the turn, travelled very well. Jumped big. She looks like a chaser. She really does look like a chaser. And in that, she looks like a gelded, you know. So she gets an allowance in the Albert Bartlett. She seems to stay all day. Be then really interested to see, do they give her another run, or do they say she did enough now and we're going to go straight there? I think the owners said they were going to go straight there, did they? Yeah.
Straight there.
So, look, she's going to be hard to weigh up because you're taking that Limerick run where she's been impressive, but it's Limerick, and it's hard to take elsewhere. And she's going to go straight there. You're not going to get a chance to see her again. So yeah, it is going to be difficult. The Yellow Clay, I don't know what happened to the last day when he won a neck or short head or whatever it was. I don't know.
I reckon that was just on the part of there were 3 quick runs in succession. I think it was just 3.5 weeks, 3 runs they put into it. I reckon he could have been just feed.
Could well have been. And the second
because the horse that he beat, a neck or nose, whatever it was, he beat him 12 lengths the run before that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether he was undercooked, whether they just left him off. You know, went easy on him because he'd had so many runs quick. I don't know, but I think we saw the Yellow Clay the other day. I thought he was very, very good. Jasmine DeVoe just doesn't jump off. Travels too keen, and I just can't have it. And then. Yeah, it's interesting. They're saying they're going to go for the Turners though with the Yellow Clay. I would more think the Albert Bartlett was his race, to be honest. Again, I don't know. We're going to see him again before then. We're probably not really.
I think so.
It's going to be very interesting. Like you're going to be weighing them up on form from a while ago. So.
Sean, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the big Westerner. I thought you could pick her out from probably 4 or 5 furlongs into the race. I thought she was very, very good. As Tom said, she doesn't look like a mare, and she's a big strapping type, jumping her hurdles very well. And I think it was the second last, could have been the third last. She took off out of Dara's hands, so there's plenty under the tank there. I think she's an absolute standout in that 3-mile division now, to be honest with you. I know there's still 10 on the field. But like I don't know anything else that's come out that's been more impressive than her, to be quite honest with you. I know she's a mare. Stats are probably all against her. I don't have her off the top of my head. Many mares have won the Albert Bartlett, but I don't see what she's done wrong. I think she definitely deserves a place at the top of the market. I know you had the Dublin Racing Festival, you had the 2 mile 6 race to come. That might sort out the geldings, but for now I think she's a clear standout in that race for me at the moment. And then on the Yellow Clay, I thought he was very good in deep ground. As you said, a lot of people were questioning would he go on it, and he's proven he can, and he's gone and put him to bed very easily. I thought he done it very nicely. I give him credit. I think he has a bit of a turn of foot. I think he got down the Ballymore route. I think he's able to sit behind that gallop, and that's what you have to be able to do on the Ballymore and quicken up. And I think he's better than just not disrespect to the Albert Bartlett winner, but he's more than, I think he's better than a slugger. He's a bit more class than that. You touch on Jasmine Defoe. You were hoping his jump was going to improve. He made an absolute mess of 5 out, but I don't think he's run the form either. I watched the race back again today. You watch going around the bend, going out onto the back straight. Sam Young nicks a few lengths on the yellow clay, and he hasn't devoted. Paul didn't look happy at all. He'd opened up about 3 or 4 lengths and he couldn't get close to him. Don't know if that was his true running, but his jumping isn't great, so you couldn't be taking him going forward. I thought Super Sunday ran a cracker in second, and he looked as if he took a nice blow coming in around the bend, and he stayed on again. Be interesting to see where they go. He could be Dublin Racing Festival. It might be a bit quick, but it'd be interesting to see if he goes in that 2 mile 6 race there. You'd say he's probably more your Ballymore horse rather than your Supreme horse.
Yeah, the Big Western, I don't know whether Cheltenham will come too quick for it. She still looks very, very green in my eyes. She's a big raw guard. I don't know whether they'll just look after her now or what they'll do. They say they're going to go straight there. Look, she obviously has massive, massive potential. And she probably will be favoured on the day, because I, as well as you, Sean, I do think OK will go into Ballymore. He's one of my horses that followed for the season. I thought he came into the season very much an underrated horse. And I think it's just based on his last run before he won the Lords of Ace that everyone thinks he's a Bartlett horse, because the way he finished and gained back up the country. I just think that was not his true run on the day, and we saw it there at Lords and Ace. Travels, picks up, and can keep going off his own pace. I think a horse that's been overlooked here for the Bartlett is Wingman, who finished third. I think they could easily go to the Bartlett with him. He looked like he kept going and going and going, looked like he was going to fall out back steady. He's currently 40 to 1 Paddy Power. He can get 20 now, I don't know about William Hill. I know he'll have an issue going that way around, but he seemed okay in the Lawless and Ace. And I think step up and trip will do him no harm whatsoever. He just looks like an out-and-out plotter, an out-and-out stayer, and I think that kind of test will suit him down to the ground. He'll be up front, out of trouble, and I think he'll be 40 to 1 back in each way. Small bet each way. I think he will have a big hand to play in that. But I think going to the Ballymore, I think he'll take a very, very good horse to beat the yellow clay. If that yellow clay turns up for Cheltenham, I think he's a very, very good horse. Right. Now we are going over the bigger obstacles. Novice Chase, as we start off, Sean, go back to you. Sergino against Ballyburn. It was 50-50 in the camp when we previewed this. Me and Dave were in. What was it? Me and Tom were in the Sergino camp. You and Dave were in the Ballyburn camp. First off, thoughts on Sergino and how good he won, and second, will Ballyburn even turn up to the festival?
Yeah, look, Tom touched on the market thing. That was a little bit interesting before the race, to say the least. I think you could end up back in Ballyburn at 15 to 8. If you could have told us that when we done the podcast last week, I'd say you would have laughed at that idea, and Sergino went off odds on. But look, I'd say I'm only young. I haven't seen as good of a beginner chase. Novice first time out doing that in my life. I thought that was absolutely unbelievable. He's gone out there, right? Yeah, Ballyburn has gone to set a pace. Right, I'll just touch on Ballyburn first. I don't know whether Kempton flat track 2 miles, good ground, probably wasn't ideal, but that's zero excuses. It wouldn't have mattered on the day. He would have been hammered. So potentially softer ground, a more testing track might sue him. But the talk after the race was he's coming up and trip. But back to the Sergino, I just thought he was awesome. He got down the first, and he had to learn very quickly, and it only took one fence to learn how to jump at that pace, because he's gone on. He wasn't great at the first, then he's gone on and winged the second, and he's gone on around the bend, and he's just 2 ears pricked, and Nico's taking a pull jump in the third. I thought it was outrageous to be travelling the way he was all over Ballyburn at the third fence, taking a pull, knowing that the race was over halfway down the back. I thought it was unbelievable. He winged everything. He jumped everything. It was flawless after the first, and for me, that is an absolute certainty in the Arkle, bar falling. I don't know a horse that's going to match that performance. I don't see a flaw in him. I think he also has his 2 ears pricked, which I think is dangerous, because God knows what's under that bonnet. I know Nico gave him 2 slaps at Newcastle, and he opened up the straight up there, and I think he's a horse you look at and you say, oh, what's he going to do at the bridle? But I think he's only going to respond for the smack of the whip, and I think that was hands down one of the best Novice Chase first time out performance I've seen in my life. In a grade 2, it's just so unlike a Nicky Henderson thing to do, but the support behind him was crazy, and he went and justified it. You obviously shown all the right signs at home that jumping the fence wasn't going to be an issue, and I just thought I thought he was very, very good. Standout performance at Christmas for me.
Tom, look, I'll throw one over two more in with that because we're talking around the Arkle. Like Sergino, obviously, thoughts on that would be very, very impressive. Ballyburn looks like he's either going to go up and trip or skip Cheltenham for Fairyhouse for the Will of Warren. But yet again, like Sergino is 4-5 for an Arkle right now, but we've yet to see Malsborough, who's likely to line up to the DRF, and Ilal Antique put in a hugely impressive performance last weekend on deep ground at Naas. Break down what you're making of all this right now.
Look, the way I look at it is, I just don't know what level some of those Willie Mullins horses ran to, and that's why I find a lot of that Christmas form very, very hard to judge. I was a fan of Sergino going into that race, and I thought he'd win. I thought he jumped well. He obviously travelled well, and he beat Ballyburn very, very well. It's a bit like Lossiemouth, who we'll get to, and it's a bit like Statement. Can anybody tell me what level they ran to? Because I ain't got a clue. I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea if that was the real Ballyburn. I'd probably tell you it's not the real Statement, it's definitely not the real Lossiemouth. But Ballyburn's the one. I just don't know. I don't want to crab Sergino. I think he's very, very talented. And I've never been a massive Ballyburn fan, so I wasn't too surprised he was better than him. But it's just very, very hard to weigh up the form for me. So I'm looking forward to going into more races now, and Marlborough's got to come out and do his thing again. I thought he was mightily exciting. If to use the phrase from a great man, if the race was tomorrow, I would be back in Marlborough at 7-2 over Sergino. I'd take a chance at those prices, but Ilal Antique was very, very good. I think he's matured and developed, and I think he's looking like a force to be reckoned with. He's been very, very dominant in the races he's won, and much the best. 8-1.
Is the key to him though soft ground?
I don't know, to be honest.
If you go back and watch his first two runs of last season, they were on soft to heavy ground, and then he bombed out at the festivals on much better ground.
Yeah, he bombed out. Was it in Naas he bombed out though last year as well?
No, he got beat and nose in the Laurels last year, and then he went on to the Tree Festival and he beaten out sight in the three races he ran in.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to take it with him that he's just a bigger, stronger horse this year, and fences have improved him, to be honest. So I'll give him a chance. Obviously, the spring form is a question mark, but I wouldn't be writing him off anyway. I think he looks at different animals last year, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's wide open. It's a wide open Arkle. Obviously, in the pocket, hung like a gate at Naas. Even though it was left-handed, you wanted to be as far wide as you could be, and Rachel just couldn't get him out there. That was disappointing. He's going to have to bounce back massively from that. And then Ballyburn looks like he's going up and trip. As in fairness to Sean almost said he wanted the trip, but I think we're sweeping. We're kind of sweeping statements. There was stuff said about Lossiemouth then as well. I can't agree with it all. And Ballyburn, look, maybe he just want a trip, but I couldn't tell you if that was the real Ballyburn or not. So
just throw another one in at you, Tom. Imperial Pass, 1-4. Like, to me, he wouldn't be out of place with an Arkle, in my opinion.
No chance they're going to do that. I think they're skipping Cheltenham altogether with him. He would be I think he would be a perfect 2 mile 4 horse. But that race is gone now. So it's an open handicap now, and he'd carry a hell of a lot of weight in it. So it sounds like they're going to skip Cheltenham, maybe go Daintree.
I think with a fast run Arkle, which it usually is, I think it would set up nicely for him, but we will not see it. Quickly jump onto the stair kind of division of it. Jukebox Man won the Court Star really well. Then we have Crow Park, who for the life of me, I still don't know how he won. Brighterdaysahead was in the second. Sean, way up where you think they're going to go. Jukebox Man, very well in the quarter star, but will Cheltenham find him out once again up the hill?
Look, I thought he was very well. It was a lot more controlled, I thought, than Newbury. I know he was fly-leaping around Newbury the first time out. There was a couple of jumps there. Now you say to yourself, he was about 2 inches off being on the deck. He was a lot more controlled around Kempton. I thought he was very good. Right, I don't know what way you take that form. You either take the form that Highland you think is going to go very close in an ultimate, or you just crab her all. So I don't know what way. I think you have two ways of looking at it, because I thought he wasn't far enough away from Highland, and I'm not too sure what level Highland is at. But look, he's the number one English hope, and I don't think he'll have an issue going up the hill at Cheltenham. I'm wondering, will he turn the form at Dancing City off Aintree last year? And the other one was at Croke Park, you said?
Croke Park and Brighterdaysahead.
Yeah, Croke Park. If you told me at the start of the season he'd win 2 Grade 1s now, I probably would have laughed at you. And somehow they've got 2 Grade 1s into him. A race that was bonkers. You'd stellar story. If he doesn't go back over a hurdle, I don't know what's going to happen, because he might as well have clouted about 5 fences around that face. I don't know how he stayed on his feet. Croke Park again was out in the front and Brighterdaysahead. I question that Brighterdaysahead. I'm not going to lie to you now. I think he's a bit of a hanging horse and he doesn't want to go by. He had every chance to go by Croke Park up that straight. He's hung in behind. He didn't really want to get out. Danny Gilligan's got him out, and he wasn't able to get up in time. I question him. I don't know. He jumped left, hung left at Navan the first day, and he's just hung for me. I don't know, but I think Croke Park, I think he's a horse he's done incredibly well to get 2 Grade 1s with. In terms of a Cheltenham Festival, there's absolutely no hope I'd be touching either of them in that 3 mile race. I suppose some of them are probably going to have to drop back to the 2.5 mile at the DRF, aren't they? You might have to race there against them Perret Pass. I didn't get to talk about him, but I thought he was unbelievable down Limerick. I thought he was very, very good. He pinged away. I'd be the same opinion as you. I'd love to see him rock down 2 miles, kept the bit in his mouth and got him going at a good pace. I thought in Perret Pass, with the looks of it, they're going to go 2 mile 5 and not the Fairy House. But that race at the DRF could make interest, because the horses are going to have to get run now. Time now, you could have a massive clash between Perret Pass, Ballybourne, Croke Park, potentially Dancing City. Them races could be phenomenal at the Dublin Racing Festival.
Only 3 weeks away. Not that we're counting down the days or anything. Yeah, look, I think the Jukebox Man, very good performance. I wouldn't mind seeing him, but obviously we can't see it now over the Turnip trip. But I'm still boggled by the got rid of the Turnip, in my opinion, because there's a lot of horses this season who would have dropped up there. There's a few going to skip it because it's not there. Croke Park, same as you, Sean. If someone said to me Croke Park win 2 Grade 1s this season, I would have laughed at it. And I still can't believe he's at the winning 2. Brighterdaysahead, I would not give up on him in a brown. I think the more open, and I get what you're saying with it hanging in behind. When Stanley got him out a half his yard after the line, he was up. I reckon you go back and look at his Martin Pipe run, he just stayed up the hill. I think a strongly run Browns staying test is what he really, really wants, and more test asked. Cheltenham will suit him even better. I won't give up on him whatsoever. Right, before we move on to Champion Hurdle and Gold Cup, we are going to give 2 anti-post selections, or whatever they want, the last one at the end. So we have anti-post selections ready. Quickly touch on Home by the Lead, Bob Allen on the stairs. It's not going to make any difference to he who was crowned. But Sean, what did you make of the performances on today?
Yeah, financial investment in Hewick, and I can't for the life of me found out what happened to him, because he just fell in the hole off the bend. I thought he was guaranteed to stay up that straight and be in the mix, but he wasn't. They've sort of found a nag, I think, Home by the Lead. They've found his quirks and finally got it all right, and now he's starting to probably race better than he's ever raced before. Bob Ollinger travelled down to the last, as we thought, just wouldn't get home up that hill, and Home by the Lead is going to kick away. Look, he's going to be in the mix, isn't he? But how on earth you can look at any of these taken on the Hupo? It's a woeful division in my opinion. I just don't see how he's going to get turned over unless you have one of these novice chasers that's going to come back into the division. I don't think there's going to be much that's going to upset his party. You're going to have the likes of Home by the Lead in the mix for the places, but I still think the Hupo is just a standout in that market.
Tom?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Joseph O'Brien had a fantastic Christmas. Really, any pickings that were left for him there by any horses not running well, he definitely picked them up. And yeah, home by the lead. I don't know. Is this the year he's going to go and do it? He won't be carrying my cash anyway. Bob is running well again, but he's just below. It's just you're never going to be able to look at Bob and think, "Oh, yeah, that was a really good run." Like it's just you're just dreaming of what could have been. It's not a division that has me excited at the minute. I'll try to find something for it nearer the time, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in a month or so.
Yeah, I think Humbert Lee could go very, very close in the stairs. Or, I reckon he would have went very, very close. The year he made a balls at fourth last or third last, I think it was, and he absolutely flew up the hill. Last year, I don't know what happened, but they seem to found what really makes him tick this season. 2 back-to-back wins. He's big enough price each way. Up to you, was there for everyone to try and beat. I think he's not a bad each way price. Bob Allen got up 2 mile 4 specials. We all knew he wouldn't stay. I'm his biggest fan. And when he jumped the last, I didn't see Humbert Lee in the picture, and I still knew he wasn't going to get to the line first. It's the first time ever in my life I haven't backed Bob Allen in a race.
What price is Humbert Lee? Did you say double figures?
I'll tell you now. Wednesday, Stairs Hurdle. That's the wrong day. It's on Thursday. He is 10-1. At each way, skullduggery. That's the right there. Right, before we're going to leave the Gold Cup and Champion Hurdle field to last. Now we're going to touch on a small bit on the Champion Chase. Solness got away from the front, Leopardstown top. 2 miles, chase track, Leopardstown. Do not leave a horse get up front. Patrick Mullins left us till the horse was nearly across the line to make a challenge. What to make a Gaelic Warriors run, and on the back of that, the Solness have a hope in hell in the Champion Chase.
To me?
Yes.
Sorry,
Your name is Tom.
Does Solness have a hope in those chances? No, I think he's been very, very, very well placed, and he's gone and won his Grade 1 now. But I think any other day of the week, Gaelic Warrior is going to come on for that run and get the better of him. Some people crabbing the form of the Arkle and saying that we just overhyped him. I don't think so. There are people saying that he needs soft ground to win over 2 miles. Go look at his form again, please. I just think it screamed. Horse has had a few niggly issues this season in preparation. It was his first run of the year. Main thing was look after him. Went wider again, and just looked after him. And it is what it is. I've no problems with it anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't be ruling them out for any Champion Chase based on that.
Sean, same question.
Yeah, an absolutely wicked, wild overreaction to this now. I don't know if the English lad's getting jiggy about John Bon or what's going on here, but there was some stick thrown this way at the Gaelic Warrior. I said before it, I thought it was the exact conditions you'd get him beat first time out of the season. Quick ground, first run, going left-handed, and they'd said that he'd had issues, and the market probably spoke. I think he went off from odds on out to 2-1 or something like that, one of them wild drifts. But look, I don't know how you crab it so much. You've seen this, as you said, got a free lead out front and kicked away. He's travelled in behind. He's looked like he's taken a good blow, and Patrick's been easy as you like on him and bringing him home safely. He's jumped as straight as he's ever jumped in his life, going left-handed, I'd say. And I don't know how you crab it. I think you have a 2 mile Champion Chase. The last 2 seasons has been on soft, heavy ground. I get Tom's point. I don't think it's ground dependent. I just think he's better on softer ground over 2 miles. And I think if you got a soft ground 2 mile Champion Chase, I think they'd be all over this lad. Like, you've the Clarence House that's coming up now. I think it's in 2 or 3 weeks. You have a Nogamine taking on John Bon. God forbid a Nogamine was to turn over John Bon. What would happen then? Like, John Bon's up in smoke. You've everyone against it, and like you're going to look at Gaelic Warrior and Energamine. I think the two of them are going to run. I don't think Willie is going to hang his hat just on a 10 or 11-year-old Energamine to run on his own the champion chase. I think Gaelic Warrior will definitely be in it too. And I think there was a big world overreaction to it. He'll come on plenty for it. You probably got a Dublin Racing Festival next over 2 miles. I don't think he's best around Leopardstown. He can act up a little bit, so before the ring, you'll know your hope. But I wouldn't be giving up on him in a 2 mile champion chase.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think there's a massive overreaction. I think we all said it on the preview that don't be surprised if he gets beat at Christmas time, and don't give up hope because he beat Jerry Rugg for Cheltenham. And we were right. And look, I think he's a massive chance in the champion chase. John Bonnet just can't have him around Cheltenham. As you said, Sean, he can take on an Energamine, and we know what Energamine and Shiskin done in that race a few years ago. If Energamine's back the best he's given some race. I just can't have John Bonnet for that. I think Gaelic Warrior is a great bet for the champion chase right now. Right. Do we want to go Champion Hurdle or Gold Cup?
King George.
King George. Right, we start with Gold Cup. Factify, Galopin, and Banbridge, we're going to talk about. And I'll let the France go. Galopin Des Champs. How dare you question the fucking king? Absolutely gave Factify a nice reminder of what real horses do. One thing. Look, that was a massive performance of Galopin Des Champs. First off, Sean, we go to you. We know two of you are his biggest fans. Do you think there's any hope that he can reverse that form at Cheltenham, given the way he races? And will Willie be able to harness that energy in some other way, whether they drop him out the back, whether they just leave him straight on? What way do you see it going? Or will he even turn up the goal?
Yeah, look, I'll tip me hat, Galopin Des Champs. I thought there was a couple of little doubts out of John Duncan, and I was willing to take him on, and he's put you rightly back in your place. And he's class. He's a class act. He's probably the best stayer around we've seen in a long, long time. He's been able to bounce back 3 seasons on the trot now, and I thought he was good. I just look. I'll take the performance and I'll take it apart. I think they've given him a soft lead, which I think, in terms of Factifoil turning that form, if there's any chance of him ever turning that form, it has to be different tactics. You cannot give him a free lead and expect to make up that ground going to Doddle. And then there's talks after the race they're going to drop him out the back and try and get him to settle. He's zero hope. If he had any hope of turning it the way he was in the last day, he has absolutely zero hope of turning that being held up last. Because Galopin Des Champs gone around there. I know you say Stair's going to go clip. He's done nothing out in front. Paul has got absolutely his own way. He's gone up past the stands, and he come past the stands, and I tell you, Mark Walsh must have had his hands about 10 inches up off Factifoil's neck. He just didn't drop the bit, and I was shocked because he dropped it in the John Duncan, and I thought he'd learned his way, but he didn't drop her at all. And then he's gone and fly leapt the second one past the stands and nearly landed in the ditch. And I thought from that point on it was game over. Paul Townend was able to fill Galopin Des Champs up the whole way down the back. He kicked on from the fourth last, and you're never ever going to catch Galopin Des Champs. He filled up the full petrol tank from the fourth last. You're not catching him. Galopin Des Champs, Factifoil has gone to quicken to get to him. He's got to his quarters, and then Galopin Des Champs winged the last, pulled away, and he's only pulling forward at the clear. At the line, I thought it was very, very good, and I rubbished the idea that Factifoil doesn't stay. There's no chance of that. You've 3-4 solid stayers in behind them. Gentleman's Game, another way of thinking. I can't think of the other horse that was in behind. They're all out now, 3 milers. If he wasn't staying, he was getting passed by them. I don't think he was staying. I just think Galopin Des Champs had so much left under the bonnet, and just like such a strong stayer. He was only going out through the line, and again he was pulled up probably halfway down the back again. And I've no queries over the trip for Factifoil. I just think you can absolutely not ride him the way you've ridden him against Galopin Des Champs and expect that result to change. There's no hope. I thought if you had a chance, you were going to go and take him on down the back, and you're going to jump up and try and go boy, and then you say, come get me. If he come get you and beat you, you're not good enough in any ways, in my opinion. So you've tried 2 ways, you got beaten twice. I think the only way you can do it is by changing tactics. But by the sounds of it, it's not going to change, and the result will not change.
Tom?
I agree with Sean, actually, yeah. I remember just watching it. I mean, the fact that he didn't settle obviously makes it very, very hard, but you give Galopin Des Champs a freebie around Leopardstown. He's unbeaten around over fences around Leopardstown. Like, you just can't do that. You're just giving yourself no chance. For me, that Factifoil's best asset is the fact that he has a high cruising speed. he can go on and ping fences down the back at somewhere like Leopardstown. And by the turn into the straight, the race is over because the rest of them are off the bridle because you got them out their comfort zone so early on. And I agree with Sean. Like, to pull as hard as he did and still finish second, only being 7 lengths, he definitely stays. There's none of this. He doesn't stay or a question. I wonder if they were in different yards, would they have ridden different? I wonder would Mark have kicked on down the back and said, I'm not going to give Galopin Des Champs a free lead. I know they're different ownerships. I'm probably thinking too much into it, but I would have just loved to have seen him do that. Go up on his outside, down the back, try and wing one. If he misses one, kick on, put him under pressure, and see what he's made of.
Sorry, Tom, to go across you. That's the thing. Like, I think if he did go head to head, he'd out jump Galopin. I have no doubt about that, and he'd get a lead. And I think that's the key part to me. That's where you'd find out if he's good enough or not.
Well, I'm not trying to take anything away. I don't want to take anything away from Galopin Des Champs. He's an unbelievable horse. And he goes there, he does it time in, time out. But you can't just give him a free lead around Leopardstown and then wonder why you're beaten.
I reckon if they did go it, I think the result would have been far more than it was 7 lengths. I reckon you go back and watch Galopin Des Champs to his races. You go back and look at last year's Gold Cup. There were 4 horses that went to take Galopin Des Champs up with the pace. 3 of them pulled up, and the other one fell. You go back and look at Jerry tried to take him on at the DRF last season. He's beat 23 lengths. I think they've learned that if you go anywhere near Galopin Des Champs up the top, you're only going to light him up. You're only going to make him go faster, and he can quicken up through. You've seen how far it takes him to put him up at the end of the races. I reckon the only way you can beat him is for speed, because he's outstayed every horse known to man. Everyone thought at Leopardstown last season that DRF, Jerry Colomb has his ground. He's a better stayer, stronger stayer. Beat the chat 23 lengths. I just reckon he's a horse of a lifetime, and if he wins the third Gold Cup, he's probably the best stage chaser we've ever seen in a lifetime. I reckon. I just don't see there's a way going left-handed, bar when he fell at in the Turners. He's just unbeatable. They've tried so many different tactics with him to try get him beat. There's no chink in his armor. You say he'll jump better than Galopin Des Champs. Galopin Des Champs jumped around Leopardstown better than Factor Foil did the other day. Factor Foil made a mistake.
The jaw pulled off him half the time.
Still, Galopin Des Champs didn't touch a twig. He only slightly jinked that one to the fence.
Not knocking Galopin, and you might be right, Andrew. He could have taken him on it, and he might have got beaten 30 lengths.
That's the thing. I think if you take him on and get beaten 30 lengths, you know you're not good enough. You get me? So, like, I think you have to roll that dice, and if you beat 30 lengths, you're not going to beat him regardless. So you might as well.
Yeah, I get what you're saying in that regards, but then with a horse that travels as strongly as him, are you using up to? I know, trying to restrain as well, you're using up a bit of energy as well, but are you going to use up too much energy for him going at a pace that he mightn't be able to sustain up a hill 3 miles too? I know the way to find out is to do it at the DRF. If you do it at the DRF, that's where you find out. Yeah. But look,
the only thing for me is do it at the DRF. You're very, very close to Chandler, and you're at risk of killing him. For me, I'd have taken him on down the back. I'd have kicked him on. I'd have seen how I got on. And if I'd have won, I'd have gone straight to Cheltenham. Screw the DRF. You'd have taken a lot out of the horse straight to Cheltenham.
That was my next question. Is there a chance that he won't even go to the DRF? Is there a chance they'll want to keep him fresh and go straight to Cheltenham?
I think he has to go now because he's done so much wrong, and he's going to want to try and... Like, it's bonkers for me to even say this, but I think he's going to drop him out last by the sounds of it. They're going to put gear on him, and they're talking about putting more gear on him, trying to settle him. And, like, I just don't understand. I think my thing is you go to the DRF, try to take him on, and then you end up being a bit close to Cheltenham. That's your issue then. So I think he looks at that and says straight away, I'm absolutely not doing that. So I think he could be dropped in. You get the same result, and then I don't know. I think this whole thing of the Ryanair coming into play, I don't know what's going to happen then.
Is there other options for him there to even avoid going to the DRF, like the Cotswold at the end of the month? He'd hardly run there, would he?
No, he's hardly going to bring him out. Well, he might bring it. He could. He's not going to, is he? He's going to go to the DRF. But you could find another race for him. I'd take him on, and if he got beat fair and square, you go back to the Ryanair and you just let him bowl along, and that's him. He's an incredibly short price for the Ryanair. I don't know. I don't see that he doesn't stay. Galopin may just be a better horse than him, but I'd love to try and find out.
No, he's 6-4 NRMB for the Ryanair. That is.
And there's not a lot in that Ryanair now.
No,
you're looking at Great Warrior.
I say it's madness. Kind of second I said it coming out of my mouth, which was exactly what you said. That Tom popped straight into bed. Fuck all everything in the race. Right. Hopefully we'll get to see him clash at the DRF in 3 weeks. Last one we are going to finish on is the champion hurdle picture. Then we do our anti-post selections. Conhill got the better of Lossiemouth Tom. First thoughts on that. Was that truly Lossiemouth's running? What did we make of Conhill? First time many of us have seen, anyone has seen Conhill being ridden out as vigorously as he was after jumping the last. Then touch on Brighterdaysahead. Monstrous performance in the Nevills Hotel, and obviously that wasn't statement rerun.
Yeah, I'm going to do it the other way around because I'm going to go off on one on the other one. So, Brighterdaysahead, incredibly impressive. They went a crazy fast gallop, and boy, she stayed and she galloped. She even, watching her jump the last, I'd say she had loads left. She threw all legs at it. It's super impressive. I'd love them to go as a champion hurdle. I don't think they will because I think the mares is there for the taking. And she'll bolt up again. Though State Man, like, he didn't run his race, did he? Like, we know he's better than that against different horses, and he falls into the Willie category of I've no idea what level he ran to, but I can guarantee you it was below his best. And that leads me nicely on to Lossiemouth, who also falls into the Willie Christmas box of ran miles below her best. I couldn't tell you how much, and still only got beaten a few lengths, 2.5 lengths by Conman. I just think we just go through the race basically from the start. She just never picked up the bridle. I've had this row with a couple of people, Sean included, which it's like, oh, she couldn't go the 2 mile championship pace on better ground. Lads, she didn't travel as well as Lump Sum. Lump Sum was able to fucking travel, and she wasn't. Please give your heads a wobble. Like,
hey, Tom, right? I did see
I love this version of Tom. Oh,
yeah, no, it's great.
Nonsense.
It's great. I did see an interesting thing, but I think it was on the road to Cheltenham. It was actually officially the quickest she's ever gone, ever, in any of our races.
So Sean, you're telling me?
No, I'm not.
If you go back and look at the start, she was 2 lengths off the back marker within the space of 2 seconds.
She never picked up the bridle. Lump Sum travelled fine, travelled absolutely perfectly fine throughout that race until they quickened up and he couldn't go the pace anymore. Lossiemouth couldn't travel from yard 1. Not a hope in hell's chance is it the ground, not a hope is it the trip, not a hope is it the pace they went. It's all absolute nonsense. If she can't travel as well as Lump Sum, there's something wrong with the horse, lads. She had, I don't know how to put it, Andrew. She
Say it, Tom.
She was being moody, Tom.
No. The best part.
I don't even think she was moody. She took a poo halfway around. How many horses in all the races have you watched? Have you seen do that? Like, hardly any. Like, she couldn't to finish only beating 2.5 lengths. I thought was a monstrous performance. I thought that was a way better performance than Constitution Hill. And
her jumping as well. Her jumping was she was airing some of the hurdles.
Jump
she was
high, all this. But she
all
just
over the
didn't
place.
travel. Like she can travel a lot better than that. Be it the fastest she's ever gone or not. Like, Lump Sum travel better. That's all you need to know from that race. Okay. Burdett Road got a free lead. Burdett Road, before he made a stop to a walk mistake at the last, was going to be very, very, very close. And I wish and hope and pray that he would have been, because everyone would have been knocking the form there. However, Conman has gone out and won a couple of lengths. He's got 4 behind the saddle to do it. Lossie hasn't travelled a yard. She hasn't jumped a yard. And she's still got within 2 and a bit lengths of him. And everyone's giving it, we're back. Stick that up your ass, Paddy Brennan. It's like, lads, calm the fuck down. Calm down. And think about it. Use your brain and think about it. Yes, he has every chance to go and improve. He has every chance to go and improve. It was his first run for a year. However, like the Racing Post ratings, they have him running miles below his best. When have you ever seen Conman get 4 behind the saddle, and then you're getting this we're back? And do you honestly, hand on heart, tell me that if he wasn't flying at home, all the reports were he'd done some excellent pieces of work. Do you think Nicky would risk running him against Lossiemouth if he wasn't flying at home? Absolutely no chance. I will go out on a limb here. If they meet again, he'll beat him.
Yes, Thomas. Yes.
I just can't stand the nonsense anymore, to be honest, of some of it. It comes back to just use your eyes. Stop listening to stuff. Just use your eyes. If Lossiemouth isn't travelling as well as Lump Sum, there's an issue.
And Tom is English, and he said, fuck Conhill. Go on, Sean.
My highlight of Christmas. He was gone. He was buried. He was written off. It was game over. We'll never see him again. And I stood in Leopardstown, and I tell you what, I gave him some scream, some roar I gave him when he jumped the last. Look, you bring it back and look at the race as a whole. As Tom said, Lossiemouth didn't. She looked beat at like 50 yards in. She gone down and erred the first, and I thought from that point you were in big trouble if you're a backer of her. I thought they went a good clip out in front. I don't think they haven't walked around. They went a good clip, and there was a jump down the back, and boy Jesus, I would have probably went over to Kempton and head choked Nick got a point for myself, because he's absolutely sent him one down the back there, and he's just about made it. It was nearly like the champion hurdle, last hurdle. He's taken a long stride and got over that hurdle, and I tell you, I thought he had every chance to duck out of that race if he wasn't right. I thought he had absolutely every single right to blow up. He went a good clip. He's made that big effort down the back, and I thought going to the last he took the blow. I could be wrong, but I think he took it going to the last. You watch him when he's jumped the second last and came down, they sort of go past the hedge thing, and his two ears sort of go up in the air, and I thought he took the blow then, and then he's jumped the last, and Nico's giving him the 2. I also look
4.
Sorry, I meant to say few.
Sorry, sorry. Just half it. Yeah.
Sorry.
What they do these days on Twitter, Tom.
He's giving them 4. But look, everyone's making out this board out road thing. He's went a good collapse. He's collapsed at the last for a reason, in my opinion. If you watch Harry Copton, he's come up off him about 5 strides out from the hurdle. He's trying to find one. He knows there's not much left underneath, and the horse goes in and leathers it. And that's because he's went a good clip, and he hasn't been able to hang about, and he's fallen in the hole. I rubbished this idea.
Or maybe Harry's seen his stride, and
Harry
like,
didn't
I'm going to fuck you at this hurdle, and we're going to go close.
He didn't fuck him at it, lads. He sat there pulling the drawer off because there was no stride, and he was going, shit, I'm going too fast, there's no stride.
But if you think he had anything left underneath there, he would have went and said, go and jump that.
He got closer to them then again after the mistake. He did. Watch it back, I'm telling you.
I don't know. He's hit the last for a reason, in my opinion, and I don't think there was as much left under the bonnet as they thought. Because if he was one, he's in the mix in a grade 1 going down to the last. You're absolutely firing him at that if he has something left underneath it. I don't care what anyone tells me, because you're going to go in and rock him at it, and he's come up off about 5, 6.
You don't.
You're beat. You're beat. Like
there's no stride. You're going to end up on your arse.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like people saying if he jumps it, he gets closer. Like you can't have both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like he's either beat and he's slowing down, or else you're going into the race and he could have got closer. I don't think you can have it both ways.
He can. He was beat. He was beat by him. But if he'd have jumped the last normally, he would have finished closer.
Yeah, but is that a reason of going too early? He's gone quick early and he hasn't got it left in the tank.
No, I don't think so.
He just got in really. He got into
Constitution Hill and Lossiemouth are better horses than Bird Arrow. That's why they beat.
Okay, fair enough. But I just thought if he had everything to go wrong, it was the day. I thought it was the day he was going to get beat, and that was it. I think he took the blow at the last, and I agree with Tom. I think he would have been definitely to get him to run, and there's room to improve. He's going to come on from it. So I think there's definitely room for improvement in there. I also see the point that Lossiemouth's got within 2.5 lengths, and she probably hasn't ran anywhere near that best. So I do see both sides of the debate. He's back. He's still unbeaten. He's won his race. I think he'll come on, and I pray he can win the champion hurdle. No money on him.
Should he be odds on?
Should he be odds on? No. But he has to be at the top because he's taken on Lossiemouth and he's beaten her. in the bare facts of things. I know you can say she hasn't run to a level, but they're the 1 and 2 for the champion hurdle off the back of Stateman blown out. And I know we're going to get onto it, but Brighter Days Ahead be the next one for me. I thought she was phenomenal. I think it's the best I've ever seen her jump, and possibly because she's got the lead going at a good clip, that is all just come together on the day. I thought he'd done unbelievable to do what he done at Kingsfield. I thought he'd went a monstrous clip and she'd have to slow at one point. But I went back and looked, and she's actually quickest of all the hurdle races on the day. She's the quickest from the second last of the line. So she's still quickening up. She wasn't slowing down. It's not like she's completely stopped. And I was blown away by her. But I do think she will absolutely be on the mare's hurdle. I think I don't make her a champion hurdle whatsoever. I think it's going to come down to the day where they look. They have Lossiemouth taking on Constitution Hill in the champion hurdle. They have a penalty kick in the mare's hurdle, and Gigginstown want to win races. Grade 1 mare's hurdle, Grade 1 champion hurdle, same status. They're both going to get a Grade 1. They're going to get the festival win in one. They risk not getting a festival win in the champion hurdle, and I think it's set in stone that she goes to mares, to be honest.
Ben,
I think you're right, Sean, to be fair. Andrew, somebody has hacked. We all know Ben on this podcast.
Yeah, I literally took the words out of my... Tom, take it away.
Someone's hacked Ben's computer.
Ben is a long contributor to the comments.
Long. Nicky Henderson, Shishkin, as you can tell by the Donnelly colours, fan of all things Hendo. And even Ben says, from one... Okay, Ben, English, please. I think he's Scottish, isn't he? I think he's Scottish. Yeah. I'm going to put from one of Con Hill's biggest fans. Lossiemouth wins the champion hurdle in a canter. Ben knows it.
Well done, Ben. We knew you'd come around. Well done, Ben. Rowdy, hit.
But what do you both think? Like, I can't believe. I know there's understanding of the mares and champion for Brighter Days Ahead. She's still 2-1 on that machine for the mare's hurdle, and I can't get my head around it. I really can't. I couldn't put anyone off back in that now.
If she was yours, Tom and Sean, Brighter Days Ahead, where would you run her?
Oh, absolutely, I go down the mares. Like, you look at all these top mares, and I don't know if I've said it before, Honeysuckle, Annie Power, all these have all taken the route of going down the mares first, then you go on to a champion hurdle. And I think it's the exact same thing that you do here. Lossiemouth done it. They had a 2-year plan. You got a mares last season. You get your Grade 1 at the festival, and then you go back and take on your champion hurdle. If it was me, I don't care what Grade 1.
You say that though. You say that, but none of them have ever put in a performance like that against the reigning champion hurdler.
True, but I do think you also have to look at the perspective of Stateman. Has he run to his level? I think that has to be taken in massively. Like, I know she's gone and absolutely blitzed him, and she's won like that, and that's why the champion hurdle talk is happening. But if you've Stateman not running to his level, I think that's going to be in the back of their minds as well.
I even think if Stateman did run to his level, he wouldn't have been an arse's roar of her.
Quite possibly, it could have well happened, but I just think that is going to be considered into it, and I'd take the Grade 1 down the mares. You got your champion hurdle next year, because I rubbish this idea. This thing of going chasing next season is absolutely making me fall off the chair, because it was all chasing last season. What happened in the summer? All of a sudden she's gone hurdling. I can tell you one thing: schooling hasn't gone right, and it's going to have to improve massively to go chasing next season, because they were all chasing last season. She's the Gold Cup mare, and all of a sudden they stick to hurdles. I rubbish this idea that they're going chasing next year, and it's all about next year, because if she wins that mare's hurdle, there's not a chance I see her going over a fence, and she'll go down the champion hurdle next year if she's good enough.
For me, it'd be a bit of a heart and head thing. I think, but then you got to fact, how many winners has Michael O'Leary had at Cheltenham? You know, I know he's only getting back into the game again, so he's only restocking, and it's going to be more in a few years' time because they buy a chasing type and whatever. But how many winners has he had at Cheltenham? Like, is he that desperate for a Cheltenham Festival winner? There's only, how many horses is he going to buy that could be champion hurdle horses? Not many, I don't think.
Has he ever won the champion hurdle?
No, I don't think so. But that was Jade would be the only mare that came close to me, something like that. But for me, I'd run her in the champion hurdle. I think there's only one race. You've got questions over, and for as much as I think Lossiemouth can bounce back, hopefully, and I think she could beat Conman on another day. You've got question marks over her. You've got question marks over Stateman. You've got question marks for me over Constitution Hill, because if you're of the opinion as I am that Lossie would have beaten if she was on a going day, then you've got question marks over the big three, and your mare is going out winning races by 30 lengths She's improving. She's in the form of her life. Take a punt at it, lads.
Yeah, I think you strike where the iron's hot. When you're on the back of a performance like that, I think it's ridiculous. I know he's saying he wants that probably half. Like, he's at the win the grade 1, so that's her bloodline sorted. He might never ever get a horse that's anywhere near as good as her to win a champion hurdle. It might never happen. Jeez, go for it.
Someone just made a good point there, though. Don't forget they ran fucking Delta work against Tiger Roll.
True.
Yeah, I do think he just wants winners.
Right, Ben has a question. Ben's in good form today, so give him a question. Question: if you swap Brighterdaysahead and Lossiemouth, where would each have place for me? Conhill, oh god, beats Brighterdaysahead in the Christmas hurdle, and Lossie would have batter statement.
We need Cubo here to translate the Scottish.
If you put Brighterdaysahead at Kempton and Lossiemouth at Stateman against Stateman, what would have happened? I think that's what. I reckon you would have had King of Keensfield anyway at Kempton with Brighterdaysahead. The same tactics would have happened, but she's not as good as she is going right-handed than she is left-handed.
Yeah,
hard to know that, isn't it? I think Conhill ran under his best, and I think she could have been.
I agree.
But I think Lossiemouth is a better mare than Brighterdaysahead.
Like I was watching, was it Road to Cheltenham? I think on top speed figures that was one of Conhill's worst ever performances. I think it was a stone below what he'd done last year.
Yeah, and you get 4 around the hole to do
it. Keep down on Pablo. Keep down on. There's no point in giving up now.
Right. I'm not talking about later fans. He can fuck off. People are backing for the champion chase. Like, seriously, give your head a bobble. We are going to finish with our anti-post bests. Our first ones of the season. Sean has put up some on X, Twitter, or whatever it's called these days. So have I. But these are officially for the show now. Tom, do you want to go first?
I will. I've only got one. You sprung this on me about an hour before the show, and I've no interest in anti-post this year, apart from one horse. And I'm gonna be GSI into this lad by the time we get to Chandler. I'm planning.
I hope you've started. The market is open, Tom.
Yeah, I have started. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I'm planning on being at Cheltenham on day 1 for a runner in the Boodles, and Spain
on day 2.
To my dear friends who I suggested that we go to Spain to watch the show.
Your idea.
And I realised I may have runners. Hopefully
his
on
idea,
there.
Sean, his idea, and he's not fucking.
I know. I'm waiting for the DRF blow up. I can't wait to be sitting at the tail.
Hopefully, I'm in Cheltenham for Tuesday. However, I will be hopping on a plane on Wednesday, and I will be flying over to Spain, and I'm going to sit down for the week, and I'm going to just pray and hope that Newburgring goes and wins the Novice handicap chase. He's an absolute plot job of the highest order, and in fairness, to train those, Joseph O'Brien is absolutely bloody excellent. He's a very good trainer anyway, but by God, he's good at pinpointing and getting a horse ready. Some people crab his jumping.
You just don't train him for 6 months and turn him.
Yeah, you just stick a handbrake and cement them to the floor, and it's all good.
Now look, I didn't cop onto this horse after his first run. I copped onto him after his second run. And I went, oh, that was an interesting run. And I just went, oh my God, Novice handicap chase. The horse has already had 3 runs. He needs 1 more run, right? And we were going into Leopardstown on the 27th. There was a bit of money from in the market. And I said, oh, I said, geez, this is going to be interesting. I'm like, that was a grade 2 the last time. And they dropped him out.
the trainer that could turn water into wine for the 4 days over the Christmas. What he done with this thing was unbelievable.
He must have had a serious Christmas dinner on the way to the bloody track. The horse couldn't move.
He turned wine into water, Sean. He did on the 27th.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Look, I think Deck as well on Twitter. As soon as I'd seen it on the second start, I think I looked and Deck was on him as well. He just screams that race, lads. If you think you can't jump, you don't go out and lead in a Galway hurdle and go and win by 7 lengths if you can't jump well. So I think the better the ground, the better. He's got the Cheltenham form in the book. He was fourth in the Triumph last year, staying on. He was out the back, and I think he just stayed on very, very nicely. 2.5 miles his trip, I've no doubt. I can't wait to see. They're going to enter him in handicap in the UK. Is going to be the next step. And I cannot wait for that day because I can't wait to see what mark he gets. You just know exactly what's going to happen with him, which is fantastic. Yeah.
They're going to give him like 148 just to annoy him.
Yeah, like nothing on his hurdles rating, on his hurdles run, could you give him anything more than like 100? On his chase run, could you give him anything more than about 132 or something like that? But no, he's going to get.
That's wishful thinking now.
He'll get 140 something.
Depends on 132. Your local credit union won't have a penny left in the thing.
No,
Pimlico Racing will be wiped out.
I'd be beg, stealing, and borrowing. Gamble responsibly if he got a mark in the 130s, because if he's got a mark in the 130s, there's no point in everything else. There isn't. As a trainer, you'd sit down and look at that and go, for fuck's sake.
This is like absolute hard all over again. I think he's going to win by 20 lengths.
He's 12-1, 10-1 non-runner, no bet. If you want to cover a little bit, I'd have a bit on both, to be honest.
Sean, over to you.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to put one up because I haven't had a proper look. I haven't had a chance, but I have a couple of eye catchers that people might be interested in that I think will pay their way over the next couple of weeks and some stages. And I suppose it is handy post to a point. But there's a couple that ran over Christmas. I think Don't Tell Alan, he ran on the 26th. He's trained by Joseph O'Brien. He's running 2 maiden hurdles now. He's one run off a mark and a handicap hurdle. He's a half brother of the Hillcrest. 2 interesting rides so far and 1 more, and he will get his handicap mark. I think he'd be up around 2.5 miles, 3 miles for a handicap hurdle. So stick him in your book. Don't Tell Alan. My second one is Attaboy Charlie. Look, they've done similar with this lad this season as they have last season. He's been given 3 education rides over fences over inadequate trips, and they've been up and down, up and down. They tried to get him in the 2-mile handicap at Christmas. Off 2 runs. The handicapper wouldn't give him a mark, so they went and ran on New Year's Day, and a beautiful run to pick up his mark. No doubt you probably go to Dublin Racing Festival, the 2-mile handicap, and he will be chucked in off his mark. The third one I'll give you is No Flies on Him. He ran on the 27th in that Nürburgring beginner chase. Fell apart, and I said a jockey might have got a slap behind the wrist for finishing third, but he ran. That's his third one now. He gets his mark. I think he's a handicap chase winner. I'm waiting. The race sort of fell apart, and if you go and read the Stewart's report, it's well worth the read for anyone that's going to do it. So that's No Flies on Him. My fourth one, and a potential Cheltenham horse. I just haven't got a proper look into it, and I don't want to just bar it out there. But it's Now Is the Hour, trained by Gavin Cromwell. He's had his third run. He's ended up in a race this weekend at Punchestown. He got a mark of 125. Where English tax, I think he'd probably be around 130. And for me, that's enough to get you into Kim Muir. Possible Kim Muir target. He's his grade 2 winner last season over 3 miles at Haydock in deep ground. And if you look in that race, the second has come out and won, rated 127 now. And you have Hattie Clores way down the field. I think your first time over 3 miles, he's been dropped down to 2-mile chases, 2.5 mile chases, and they've done some job getting him beaten the last day over 3 miles. So the fourth one will be Now Is the Hour, and a possible Kim Muir target. And my final one is Mispronunciation. She ran at Nice the weekend, another horse. She similar sequence to last year, a couple of races placed, not in the mid division of beginner chases, and she went on a 3-win streak over hurdles. I think she'll be putting a little streak together soon and later than later. She now has her mark over hurdles. So the 5 horses, I'll run back over them again. Don't Tell Alan, Attaboy Charlie, No Flies on Him, Now Is the Hour, and Mispronunciation.
Yeah, that mispronunciation has been cemented to the ground. Now 3 runs over fences. She is, as they say, she yucked in. Right, I have 3 catching up. These are 3 kind of confident ones that I'd be happy to back now, and I have backed now and probably will back them again. First one, Gaelic Warrior for the Champion Chase. Massive overreaction for his run at Leopardstown. I think Cheltenham would suit much better. I think they're going to be a strong pace. I want to take on John Bond. I can't have John Bond around Cheltenham at all. All his defeats, and only defeats, have come at Cheltenham. I think he's very vulnerable there. If you go back and watch his run, start of the season, he was only at length 3/4 ahead of Boot Hill. I think 92 Gaelic Warrior, I think he's cracking bet. I think he'll go off near enough joint favourite on the day, I think. Second one, I'm really keen on this one in the Pretemps. One I put up at Christmas time is Win Some, Lose Some. That was his first run over 3 miles in the Pretemps qualifier at Lepstown. He won that quite snugly. He won by 3/4 lengths, but if you go back and watch, he kicked clear in the straight and he just idled all the way to the front. Never in any trouble whatsoever. He got £10 hike for that. That leaves him on a mark of 135, then you get tax. You're looking at 140. He's in that range where the winners, last few winners, Mom Morale 138, Good Time Johnny 142, third win 141, Miss Miller 134, practically 141 were a mayor's allowance, and then you Sarda Bear, they won off 145 and 152. Again, I think he is going to improve a lot. Again, second run over 3 miles. I think the trip, the track of Cheltenham will suit him a lot better than flat tracks. If you go back and watch his wins, he's about to win 4 times over hurdles already, and he's still on the mark of 135. What I like about him, he was able to win shorter trips, which will do him no harm when jumping in the Pretemps when the pace they go. Stays really well. Very lightly raced with the right owner, and I think he's a cracking man. I know he's 10-1 now. I back him a bigger price for the Pretemps, but I think he'll take a hell of a lot of beating the Pretemps. The last one is the Yellow Clay for the Turners. I love this horse. I think he's a very, very classy horse. I think these races will be run to suit. People always say that you need a champion hurdle horse for this kind of race, but if you go back and look at the last few winners, I'll just get up in front of me here. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. There's always talk of champion hurdle horses win this, but you go back, look, they always end up being stayers. You've Ballyburn and Perry Pass, Sir Gerhard, Bob Ollinger, Vega Allen, City Island, Sam Crow, Willoughby Court, York Hill, Windsor Park, and then you Faugheen, the only one who actually was champion hurdle class. The rest of them are stayers. We all reckon this fellow will stay further, and he will stay further. A strong run, Turner / Ballymore. He'll track the pace, he'll pick up often and keep going. I think it's a tailor-made race for him, and I have him a very, very strong contender at 8-1. So Gaelic Warrior 9-2 for the Champion Chase. Win some, lose some, 10-1 for the Temps, and the Yellow Clay at 8-1 for the Turners. Novices. Well, Tom's gone.
Tom left us early.
Liverpool must be getting beat early. But that's it. We're done anyway, so not to worry. That's us done for this week. We'll have no preview this weekend, but we'll be back more of a routine from next week, and we start doing a bit more Cheltenham focused content, and then we have our DRF preview Wednesday before the DRF. So until then, enjoy the weekend's race if it's on. If not, we'll see you next Wednesday for another weekend preview.